get this show going, man.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, a Washington Commanders podcast for fans by fans, with your hosts, Jessy Martin.
Because 90% of them are wrong. They're fucking wrong.
Max Taman.
You've got a plate of shit and you've got a bowl of shit. They're the same thing.
Scott Hartley.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
John Taman.
What the hell was I talking about?
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
And now, the world's worst podcast host, John Taman.
Hey, that's me. I am John Taman. I'm the world's worst podcast host, and my camera level is not even right there. So there, as you can see, I'm right off to a great start. We are down a man for right now, so we're going to have a nice, calm, reasonable discussion about yesterday's game before the angry portion of our program appears. Jesse's working a little late today. He's probably got some beavers to clear out of a pipe or a tree to take down off a trail or something like that, something important. And, I joke, but he does do an important job, and if he's out there working for you, be appreciative, especially if you live in southeastern Virginia. All right, so then over there at my right is my good friend, Scott Hartley. How are you doing, Scott?
I'm very well, John, yeah, and thank you, as always, for having me on the show. It's one of them where I enjoy it. Yeah, it's not my show, mate. It's not my show. So
I suppose. You've been on it for a year and a half. I don't know.
I know, and I still say thank you every time, but you know what I mean.
He's like the permanent guest, right? All right. So stand up. What do you got on there? Let's see this. This is the old-fashioned.
So, yeah, I'm repping the old school Bleeding Burgundy podcast Big Yellow Spot T-shirt.
The big yellow spot is right. And I want to make it clear as a graphic designer that this was before my days on the show, so I didn't have anything to do with that. I think it was Keith that said, "How about a big yellow blotch on the shirt?" Yeah. Put our name in the middle of it.
That's the most his name's been said on this show in the last year.
Dude was on here yesterday.
I know.
Yesterday.
He didn't have much to say, but he was on here making an appearance, and that's always good. It's good to see Keith. And anyway, good to see Max down below, Max the statistician.
I don't have anyone with me. It's weird.
Yeah, I know. Well, Jesse's not here yet. He's out there working hard for the people of Virginia, man, and that's what we like. That's what we pay our fucking taxes for, so that Jesse can be all pissed off when he gets back about the football game that we're going to talk about. But right now we're in the general bullshit session of our podcast, and I'm just going to ask you this, Scott, as the co-host of the 1 Point Safety Show, how bad does Scouse Andy Lockhart want to punch me in the face?
I think pretty hard, John, to be honest.
That dude hates me.
Dude, he doesn't hate you. He knows, man. He knows. It's just banter, which is all good fun. But at the same time, man, he's like, "I'm gonna get that, John. I'm gonna get him."
Well, I'll tell you
what. He's coming for you, man.
I will say this: you don't fuck with the man from Del Monte.
That's very true. He says yes.
That's right. I say yes. Go get him. Anyway, that's enough fun. That's inside fun there. So, did you have anything else going on this weekend, Scott, that was interesting at all?
Not really. I just went for a meal with my family, celebrate my daughter's 13th birthday on Wednesday. And apart from that, all of my sporting teams lost, which is not a good weekend. So my rugby team got absolutely destroyed on Friday night, and after about 60 minutes of that game, I was like, I'm done with this. And then my football team, soccer, they lost 4-0 and are currently 92nd out of 92 professional football league teams. Going well.
That's pretty bad. Go ahead, Max.
Scott, you got to think like that. You can only go up.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to say, you know what happened? Dude. Scott, in January of 2013, went, "I really like this Redskins team. I think they're going to be mine. I've been watching them all year, this RG3. Oh, there goes his knee." As soon as he said, "This is my favorite team," there went his knee.
100% certain, and that is, it's been kind of downhill since then, but I'm still riding the wave here. I think they've been very good so far this season, and to play a team so close as what we did at the weekend, I'm not, don't want moral victories. I know you've got that on your head in there, John, but it kind of almost was a moral victory.
I guess. There's no such thing. But okay, Max, you got something to say. You've been saying something. Yeah. What did you do this weekend?
I want to call a illegal formation on your wife for needing my help at 1:10 on a Sunday.
See, now I frankly am pleased with her play calling. She did not call me. She called you because she knew that I would be like, it's the Commanders versus the Ravens. You're wanting me to come out there and help you with a 10 past 1. I love you, baby, but it's football, you know.
So I was out there at 1:10. I had to pick her up to pull the tent down. It was great. So we got into the game a little bit late, but it is what it is. I missed the pick.
I tell you what. All right, we'll get into those kinds of things. I'm kind of killing time until Jesse gets here, but I'm not sure when he's going to get here. So we'll just move on from the general bullshit since most of our weekend. By the way, all of my sports teams did not lose this weekend. The Orioles, they're done and gone. They're out of it, which I'm sure Scott G is living with glee out there in his North Dakota
Max,
home.
are you able to pull up the Yanks versus Brits fantasy?
Yeah, what's going on with the Yanks versus
I don't know
Wanks
what that
fantasy
is.
football teams? Oh, the Yanks versus Wanks. There you go.
That one. Yes.
All right, so pull up our league and tell us what's going on with that. Let's have an update on the Yanks versus Wanks
Let's do that.
fantasy football league. I do know one score,
So as of right now,
and it's probably why Scouse wants to punch me in the face even harder.
I'll go from most interesting to least.
Okay.
Jesse is beating Joseph by a score of 137 to 82.
Does Joseph have anybody going tonight?
Joseph does not.
Well, that's over then.
So Jesse has cemented himself in first place.
Look, if there's one thing that I want to say to all of you out there in the Yanks versus Wanks football league, fuck Jesse, man. Beat that motherfucker. Just beat him. Just take him down. I did it. Everybody else can.
Our buddy Mark beat Toothpick by a score of 106 to 78. Let's see here. Yours truly is currently beating our good pal Tony 117 to 113, and both of us have someone going tonight.
Who you got?
I have Garrett Wilson, and he has the Jets defense. So it's going to be close. We shall see.
Mary. Oh, wait. Go ahead.
My lovely father is beating the lovely Scouse by a score of 151 to 99.
So you see, I'm beating the living crap out of Scouse, which I might add probably would have had a different outcome if he'd had a running back. So I don't want to put any more on of our fantasy football talk, but
I will say that his running backs did score 31 points. 29 came from one person.
I think mine scored like 48.
Yours scored 47.
47. The fact of the matter is, I can go joke with Scouse about our argument last week over my fantasy thing, but now Marvin Harrison's out. There's nothing he can do now. He can't trade now. He can't do anything about it now. And
now in the game of the week, we've got our buddy here, Scotty, who is currently down to our pal Yam, 139 to 133. And Yam has James Cook, and Scott has Breece Hall going tonight.
Yep, it's on the running backs. Yam, it's all on the running backs tonight, my boy.
What's Yam's record?
We will see.
He's right behind Jesse, right?
Yam is 3-2, and Scotty is 4-1.
All right, so Yam in our chat that we have that's just for this league. Honestly, he sounds like Jesse half the time.
It's hopeless. We'll never make it. Never. We're done for.
It's got Saquon Barkley and James Cook and his constant my team, geez, my team. So, anyway, welcome to Jesse, our good friend from Southeast Virginia, who just came in off the road. How you doing today, bud? Did you have a day to settle down after it all, or were you up all night, chewing your pillow?
Oh, no, I slept like a baby.
Oh, okay.
Good, man.
So you woke up every 2 hours and cried?
A little bit, yeah.
You pissed your pants.
I gotta say, Max, that was fucking sweet.
All right, well,
my friend.
We're just going around with some general bullshit. What did you do on Saturday besides make picks with Scotty and I in the afternoon? Anything good?
Just watch Ohio State get beat by.
That was great.
Yeah,
that was
cool.
Cool.
It was fantastic. It was a great game.
You didn't watch it?
Fucking great game.
I'll tell you what, I'm interested because we were talking about this, but I'm interested to see what they're going to do with the rankings because Penn State at 4,
they came
won.
out yesterday.
They did. I thought they were on Tuesday. Go ahead.
No,
What did they do?
Penn State's up to 3, Oregon's to 2, Ohio State's at 4.
I'll tell you what, for Penn State to knock Ohio State down, well, if you've ever listened to me on any podcast whatsoever, I think it means absolutely nothing because these fucking rankings are bullshit.
right now, it is just the AP rankings. The college the playoff rankings don't start until November.
Right.
But in terms of the AP rankings, out of the points, Penn State has 1,380 and Ohio State has 1,357.
Here's the thing, though. And Max, you're a Penn State fan. I'm a Penn State fan. I've watched every one of their games this year. Do you think they could stand up with Ohio State?
Based off what we saw yesterday, probably. I think
so.
I don't know. I mean, maybe. Oregon's good, though. Oregon's
really good. Yeah,
Oregon's really good.
What I really liked about them is, do you see when they had was it 10 seconds or something to go, and he ran 4 seconds off the clock by tactically putting 12 men on the field, knowing fine well it would incur a 5-yard penalty once the ball was snapped, and took 4 seconds off the clock.
Ducks are clever. That's why hunters have to hide and fucking try to call them down into a pond. Well, they're smart.
So last week we talked about the Penn State play call where they ran the right guard in motion. Did you see the play call they did this week with the tight end?
Uh-huh.
They put the tight end at center, had the whole line shift to the right, declared the tight end eligible, and then he went out and made a spectacular catch in the end zone.
That's right. Dude, and he threw a pass too. So look, I'll tell you what, man. That tight end at Penn State is fucking badass. That guy is a pro ready to go. He looks like Freiermuth did back then, except he's a little more bully boy about it. The dude's a beast. I like him. But honestly, as a Penn State fan, I love him being at number 3, but I don't think they can hold up to it. I think that they're not as talented as Ohio State. Aller can have a bad day, and he's had games against teams like USC. They're not ranked. They're 3-2, and it took him till the end of the game. They had to go to overtime to win that game.
I will say that as of right now, Penn State plays Ohio State next week.
Well, then I hope that's true, because if it's as of right now, that sounds like it may change.
Yeah, right now it's 2 versus 4.
Right.
But Penn State's got Wisconsin this week, and Ohio State plays Nebraska, who, frankly, Nebraska's something.
Yeah, they are.
You can think Nebraska's nothing. Look at that quarterback and tell me he's not.
Nebraska is something. It is a hotbed of inbreeding.
Oh, you shut up. Dylan Raiola.
I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think anybody can beat Texas right now.
That's very true.
Is good. Texas is good. So there's the portion of the show that Scott can just sit back and say.
I will say that last week Scott and I sat here for 20 minutes after we were done, and I said, Scott, Saturday, this is what you're doing. And I told him to watch Texas, Oklahoma, and Oregon, Ohio State. And did you?
No, I watched the boxing, mate, instead. I wanted to watch Bivol against Baturviev. It was a great fight, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to watch that instead.
Honestly, I'm not going to.
Boxing's getting obsolete.
It is. I'll be honest with you.
UFC, I can watch out in the bar. I don't know. I've always liked boxing better. The sweet science. But I can respect that, Scott. It's not like you said. I watched the wife's gardening program.
Or something like that. To be fair, I mean, I was just thinking. I don't even look at college football until mid-December when I'm thinking, where are the Commanders going to pick and who are we going to get into and start looking at mock drafts and stuff like that. So I got no affiliation to any college whatsoever, and I'm just like, nah, whatever. Just doesn't bother me in any way.
That's the thing, Scotty. If you got nothing to do on Saturdays, this Saturday is full of college football. Then you get to know these players before.
I know.
It comes around.
Has 2
highlights
games in the SEC.
Except honestly, in October in this region, it's the fucking greatest weather of the year. Saturday, you got to go outside, man. It's
this Saturday,
it's the best.
You got Tennessee, Alabama, and you got Texas, Georgia.
For all of you out there that are thinking about going to the game at Tennessee and Alabama, if you can show, I don't know, DNA proof that you fucked one of your cousins, they'll let you in half price. Hey, man, they want that stadium full.
I mean, that game is at Tennessee, so you're probably right.
Tell you what, they did a promotion back last year when Tennessee played Alabama, and they said if you come in, you pay $1 for every one of your teeth, and they lost their shirt on that one, man. They had a bunch of people come in.
I just realized that Scott's wearing the cheese wheel.
He is.
Yeah, this the greatest. It's the greatest T-shirt ever. I was saying to the boys before we started that I went through a phase before I was podcasting. I was like the Canada Mike of the Twitter world, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy every podcaster's T-shirt. And now I'm going in there. I've got Steve Limbs. I've got all sorts in there. It's like, go on, boys. It's crazy. I just counted them out before, and I think I've got 11 different podcasts: Redskins, Commanders.
Tell you what, there, hon. Yam's on to something here about them people up in Beemore being, inbred there. Got a cousin down in Dundalk. She's fine, baby, fine.
I mean, you got to realize that when they say the word cousin, there's no S there. It's just cudden.
Did you see the dick who decided to sucker punch a couple of Commanders fans?
Yeah, and he's now been outed thanks to Hillary.
He has. Thank you. Yeah.
I saw that.
I saw the New York Post said that the police are investigating it now.
Good.
I think I saw Hillary's tweet.
They should.
Hillary's tweet about that has something like 692,000 fucking views. That's insane, man. But yeah, good for her, man. Good for her. And now the company's website that he worked for, yes, it's gone viral.
What did you just say?
Viral.
He said it's gone viral.
Instead of viral, we take in the. I know it is, but it's gone viral. As in, you know what I mean? It's gone right up there.
Look, you know the things on the internet that are pictures with words over it?
Yes.
For about 2 years, he thought they were called memes.
They should be.
Oh, man.
Don't oh man me. You're gonna make up a
still don't know
word,
if it's
spell it
GIFs or
meme
GIFs.
and tell me it's meme. They say it's GIFs, but no, GIF is peanut butter. It's a GIF.
GIF, isn't it? It's a GIF.
No,
yeah.
the people who invented it came out and said, "I'm sorry, but it's called a
Yeah,
GIF."
well, we're typical
and
white
we were
people
like,
where we
"Fuck
we
you,
know better than
Poindexter.
you.
We're gonna call it a goddamn GIF."
Hey, don't hate us. We just invented this kind of graphic that's now obsolete.
All right. Anyway, we're going to talk about a football game here.
Yeah,
So yesterday, Jesse, you were quite angry. You would barely show us anything but your forehead during the podcast that we had after the show. Which, by the way, if you haven't tuned in for the mashup, right after the football game,
It gets lively at times.
it does get lively at times. But before we go any further, I want everybody that's in the chat, and I want these three guys right here to go over to your Twitter account or whatever Facebook account and fucking put the link out there and get some people goddamned in here. This is ridiculous. So, yes, yesterday was a bit cantankerous. I had to step in and I had to separate Andy and Andy and Jesse were trying to get through the fucking the chat windows here to try to get them. Oh, hey, speaking of the chat windows, I want everybody to know. I'm sorry, I'm on a tangent here, but I just have something to say real quick. I want to say to StreamYard, thank you. Thank you. You came in the middle of the night and you raised our rates $20, and for that we got the ability to do this. Isn't that fucking cool? Oh my God! That's $20 a month worth of cool, baby. Let me tell you something right there. I'm happy to be paying that $240 a year for that fucking ridiculousness. Look, you want to give me something good? Give me a way to put folders in with all my media files, because we have an actual thing on our show, and I'm talking, everybody else knows this, but I get all confused and everything because I'm running down the goddamn list looking for all the shit that I have to use, and I got so many files on here I get fucking confused, and then we have to do this.
I wish you would put the wrong one up.
I know, that would have been absolutely perfect. Now look, StreamYard, get your shit together. You're going to charge us more money. Give us something other than dark mode and this stupid fucking shit right here.
Does that not deserve not a butt, but does it not need a head smack for that?
It needs a head smack for that. You know what I do think, though? Honest to God, Scotty, on the 1 Point Safety Show, I want you to do this once and see if that round thing fits directly over Scott's head.
Gauss's head will be the whole picture.
see if that melon fits right in. I know, I'm just bad. All right, so take this stupid thing off. I'm not paying the extra fee they're going to charge me for doing this.
You already did.
I tell you what, there's a bit of a backlash on this though as well. To be honest, on X, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people are now saying, "Well, hang on a minute, why are we doing that?" I was the same. Thanks for taking, a 90% increase in my monthly subscription out of my account 4 days before it's normally due. Yeah, I appreciate that. But
It's so much so that I got
for an alternative.
I got other streaming services.
I saw that.
To tweet.
That's right.
saw that,
They
yeah.
tweeted at us and told us,
hey, we'll take care of you.
And
Come check us out.
What is interesting with that other company is that they only offer a service with 2 owners. So,
we'll see what happens. I'll tell you what,
We'll
Restream
have to see something.
send us some nudes. Maybe we'll go with you.
yeah, maybe.
No, we are going to look into some things. Honestly, I like what they give us here, but that would be a big help, StreamYard, is to be able to make some folders to be able to separate my media files. And for all of you people that are now here joining us, waiting for us to talk about the football game, you've been here for 20 minutes listening to the general bullshit session of the show. So we're going to start right off here in southeastern Virginia with our good friend Jesse Martin. Dude, give me your impressions of the football game yesterday now that you've had a day to digest.
It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, man. Offense was fucking fantastic. Jaden is shown time and time again that he can handle pretty much anything that you can throw at him. And then you have the most disappointing aspect of the game of football, watching the defense.
It is disappointing.
We were sold a bill of goods these past 2 games. We know that the Cleveland Browns are fucking shit. The Cardinals seem to be a better team. I'm still not sure if they are or not. I mean, they did beat fucking the 49ers, and then I guess they laid an egg last week. Or who did they play yesterday? I know they lost.
Yeah, they lost to the Eagles. Oh no,
the Browns lost to the Eagles and played the Eagles close.
The Cardinals played Green Bay.
Yeah, and they lost Marvin Harrison early.
Yeah,
so early that Scouts got a big fat goose egg for him being in the lineup.
So
that's just his head.
No, figure
no, stop it.
Holding them to less than 14 or 14 points and under. You would figure coming in this game that you would see some signs of life, but unfortunately, the Ravens did whatever they wanted to do to us. It did not matter anything. I mean, there was nothing they couldn't do, and they did it. And I think the game wasn't as close as it seemed. The score, but again, going back to the other side, I mean, Jaden was fantastic, and the rapport him and Terry are getting, and even Noah Brown, man. Noah Brown had a hell of a game.
Yeah.
So definitely hats off to him. I think Jaden did everything that he could to try to win the game, but unfortunately, you have 3 phases of the game, and when one of those phases doesn't help you out at all. I mean, all we needed was a stop or 2. I mean, they gained almost 500 yards on only 9 drives, man.
Well,
9 drives.
I've got to say, to your point though, Jesse, on that, I thought the referees played their. I don't want to blame referees, as John said yesterday, but they played their part in critical times in the game, fucking it up for us. That was never ever a PI call on Benjamin St. Just. I've even watched the one that was called that I thought probably was a PI, where he did grab his hip. They're questionable. I watched games in the evening after our game finished, and there was many calls like that where you were like, there's no flag flown.
This was the same crew that we had in Arizona. Sorry, I thought you had taken a break.
You're right.
This was, and we saw then. This is a crew that seems to think they have a quota of how many flags they're supposed to throw. The second PI on Benjamin St. Just was a load of shit. And the fucking holding call on Andrew Wiley deep in the fourth quarter was utter garbage. Max said in our chat, dude, go ahead and say it. I'm not taking it from you.
In order to get a hold, you have to touch the guy.
You gotta get a hand on him.
Not just get a hand, get a fingertip.
Something.
And I mean, they were at critical moments as well. They're on 3rd down, they're 3rd and 9. And you're thinking, okay, I understand where you're coming from, and then they give a pass interference call there. Bullshit.
If they want to be that touchy, it's okay. Like, it's fine, but do it both ways. Because how do you not call it on Noah Brown when he's getting his entire shirt pulled when he's trying to go for a ball on 3rd and 7?
Yeah.
Like, it's just Jaden getting hit shit rocked on a pass play in the first half. I was glad they picked the one up on Terry because that was shoulder to chest, and the head's going to move.
They're going to touch. Yeah.
Hard hits are not penalties.
Right, and Terry thrives on that kind of stuff. Anyway, before we get too deep into the weeds on these kinds of things, Max, your first impressions on the game. We're going to keep going around the circle here till we get to the top because it is a rectangle.
What did you just say? We're playing Foursquare here.
All right.
Given just what the team is and what we thought going into the season and how all of us felt going into the game, they are who we thought we were. And the game wasn't any surprise. And frankly, we put up more of a fight than we thought we would have. This
I don't know. I thought
as a team, this game was very much in hand. We had the game in the palm of our hand at one point, and our defense couldn't get a stop.
Right.
Well, we did get a stop, but
I don't know about that.
I don't know if we ever had it in the palm of our hand.
I don't think we ever had a lead, did we?
No. Oh, we were up.
We had a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, what I'm referring to is we got a stop before St. Jude's had a phantom PI call.
Right. That's true.
By 7.
That was on third down, and then right after that was that big wide open pass to Mark Andrews.
So without that play, that's a 20-13 game, and we get the ball back.
Yeah, you got a point there. You can steal a game without it being something that's so close. Like Jesse said, 500 yards on 9 possessions is hard to argue against. But
at the same time, this is a team that we're playing that is easily a Super Bowl favorite.
Oh, absolutely.
And we are far from that. And we need to know where we are. And frankly, can we compete with these teams? Yes. Can we beat some of these teams?
Probably.
Maybe.
I would say. So my first impressions on the game, to build off of something right there, look, we were able to do things in the game that you need to do to be able to play with a team that's above your class, which is take the ball away. We got that instant fucking turnover with Mike Sanastrill that just bounced into his arms. But we weren't able to capitalize. So we're not quite there yet. And even though the words moral victory is horrible, the fact of the matter is we can take away some things from this that are negatives into positives. Like, for example, the offensive line, I thought, had their worst game pass blocking. Jaden got knocked around. He got sacked 3 times. And the other thing that they were able to do that was, they blitzed him a lot, and it took away a lot of the little lanes that he's been using to squeak through when he's taken off and run. And they knocked him around, but they didn't knock him off his fucking game. They didn't knock him out of his freaking head. They didn't get him to the point where he looked like a rookie at any point during the game. And that's my first impressions of the game. Now, if you bear with me here, Coach Simple does have something to say.
It's more you victories. Y'all better understand this closely. More you victories don't mean that you got.
I think it's more you victories there for Coach Simple, but moral victories is the theme of Coach Simple's post-game presser.
It's more you victories. Y'all better understand this closely. More you victories don't mean that you got the job done. More you victories mean you got to get better. That's what it's all about. It is not about more you victories. It's about getting better. That's what it's about. Let's get better. Because that's the only way we're going to get better. I want better. Better. I want to see better. Look at this team better. Because that's what I want to see on that field. As soon as I see it on tape, that's what I want to see. Defensively, a lot of work to do. Need to see more. Need to see better.
I was waiting for him to say we let him off the hook.
We did let him off the hook, but I tell you, could you hear his mom in the background?
Yeah, that was cool. She was on it too. I thought she was going to hype him up more.
She was giving him the feedback, man. That was all right. I like that. So yeah, Coach Henry felt it. Coach Henry knows it. Coach Henry gave it to us straight. There are no more victories.
Got to be better to get better. I mean,
that's right.
I'm 100%.
Be better.
It's got to be better. I mean, the defense that we saw, I thought was pathetic.
So let's jump off Coach Simple real quick then. Tell me this, to Jesse, though. You saw that the defense was pathetic, but Can I get a concession from you that we knew Derrick Henry could run this defense over?
Sure.
We knew that Lamar Jackson is the MVP. We were hoping to get, I think we said on Friday, 2 or 3 stops and see if we could build from that and go, right?
I mean, we got to stop in the first drive, which they were, if we didn't get that, they were probably scoring. I mean, at least 3, I mean,
Took the ball away.
I mean, that's a great take, Jesse. If we don't stop them, they're going to score. It's the only one thing they can do.
Well, no, because you're right. Because they might have been able to force a punt. But I get what you're saying there.
Yeah, I mean, they're already what he got
at the 20
at the 20-yard line. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
regardless. So
Well,
I think we got a little bit luck there, but you have to capitalize off that.
Yeah, you do. You got to
off
score
those opportunities. When
score.
you're playing a team like this, and then, and maybe this goes back to Joe Witt or Dan Quinn about their game plan. And how they deployed, their assets. I was listening to Kevin Sheehan earlier today, and he made a good point about Zay Flowers, probably the quickest guy on the field yesterday. Why wouldn't you have your quickest? And it probably because of the tackling situation, I guess. But you would think instead of freaking St. Juice isn't the fastest player in the world.
He's not the best player in the world either, by far. As a matter of fact, I think there's probably 3.5 billion people that are
You're
better.
probably right. But I know Forbes
including
hasn't
that
done well.
kid that was just born in China right now.
But does anybody think that Forbes may have been able to keep up with Flowers a little bit?
That was a mystery. All right, let me jump it over to Scott real quick. Why did they sit Emmanuel Forbes?
Well, I listened to Dan Quinn earlier in his presser, and he said that basically they sold out for the run. And because they sold out for the run, they wanted
very good.
Yeah, I know. They wanted an extra lineman, and it wasn't anything to do with him being health related or position related. That basically he also intimated and said that Mikey Samrastill's been doing well on outside corner. Which I agree with. He has. I mean, he took the ball away, so you can't deny that probably wasn't a good move. And I understand where they're going. It's what do you want? It's death by 1,000 cuts, isn't it? Do you stop Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, or try to through the run, therefore leaving the space when you've got that many men in the box? For someone like Zay Flowers, or likely to go, for many yards in the passing game, it's a really difficult position to do, especially when, unfortunately, the defense plays poor and you don't get the pressure that you want, and then you end up with injuries throughout the game.
Because
losing Dorrance Armstrong early was big.
Yeah,
to your point, though.
Go ahead.
To your point, on that logic, wouldn't you want your fastest defensive back?
Yeah,
on the field,
I don't disagree with you. I don't.
So why is
disagree with
Jamin
you,
Davis
Jesse.
sit again?
That's another question. You're
if
you
you're
could
one
have had
lineman,
Jamin Davis play
he's
linebacker.
He's good in pursuit.
Yeah.
He
The
is.
thing is,
but you
gents,
have
we can
Michael,
Mike Davison is the other one.
the fucking linebacker.
Oh, Michael
McGee.
Walker.
Yeah,
Or
McGee.
Michael Walker.
Michael Walker got burned like a freaking match yesterday. McGee is healthy. I guess maybe he's not as healthy as it was coming through, but he's got a couple of full practices. I'm not going to question the coaches on these kinds of decisions. The only one I ever question is fucking Marcus Mariota. But
that's what I was going to say was, where are we here? We're not watching these guys in training every day, so we don't know how they're training, how they're performing. You got to give the trust to the coaching staff and say they made them decisions because they made them decisions on personnel. It does look baffling when to Jesse's point where you have your fastest corner as a healthy scratch. But I get what he was trying.
I don't think he could have done any worse, to be honest. with you.
Look, before you go, Max, let me just say this: as a fan of this team and as the worst podcast host in the world, even though I am the host of the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, I think they should tell me. Max, what do you think of that?
Well, just to build on Zay Flowers, just because I don't know if it actually has been noted, he got shut out in the second half.
Because they didn't even throw to him in the second half, and they
Right. But what?
they didn't need to.
Yeah,
they were running.
Yeah,
the,
but
They
He's
had
got
a 97-yard
135
drive. Right, they had like a 97-yard drive in the second half that was just mostly over.
they had a 94-yard, a 95 or 75-yard, a 90. they had
hell
4
farted?
drives in the second
It was
half
Jessy,
that was
of
over
course it
70
was.
yards.
Jesus Christ, dude! You're over there squeaking while you're talking. Yeah, you got crap. Somebody's farting over here. You got crap coming out of both sides of you. Really?
I admit it when I do it.
It was not me.
Max, finish your point.
What I'm more referring to is that in that second half is when we saw Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews come out. So something changed at halftime that didn't even let them throw to Zay Flowers. Whether or not that was a defensive adjustment or an offensive adjustment, couldn't tell you.
Look, when I was watching Mark Andrews, we talked about last week, and I was saying, look, he's got ham on his hands.
Dick hands himself. Yeah.
Dick hands himself. He can't catch anything, and all of a sudden he's wide open. But what I saw is he had 3 big catches. One, he had a touchdown, and every time I saw him catch the ball after the play, I'm looking at Bobby Wagner, looking around, going, "What? Where?" And that to me showed me that somebody made a mistake, and maybe what they were doing was they started flowing much more to Zay Flowers and saying, "Okay, you're not going to beat us with this guy," but it left Andrews wide open, or somebody was just overconscious of Zay Flowers. Because if I can finish one real quick, in the first half, I kept saying this to you guys, everything they're doing to the outside is working. Everything. They got a 45-yard fucking screen pass on the second play of the game, right? Everything that they did outside the tackle box worked like a charm. So go ahead, Jesse. Tell me how we get better from this.
Fuck if I know, man. I think if,
Well,
if they're
that's
serious,
the most honest thing anybody on this show has ever said.
If they're serious about making a playoff run, they need to make a move.
For what?
A cornerback and a defensive lineman, it seems like.
We have to have a D tackle now since John Allen's gone down.
Calvin,
I mean,
appreciate you
Calvin
joining.
brought up the.
We did sack Lamar twice yesterday. And I will point out that there were several plays where he looked like he had nobody to throw to, and eventually either his scrambles didn't really go that far, and eventually he had to throw it away. I thought that the defensive line is coming up better. Am I wrong in that?
I mean,
I don't know.
I think now
slow.
it might be Nolan Brewer. You could be right. John Allen. We haven't really seen
Big
him
loss.
shown up in the stat sheets, but you know,
Ever since you called him out.
you take the past few weeks into account. You know, I think this is a bigger loss than we could probably imagine right now.
Go ahead.
I don't know how Johnny Newton's going to have to step up. Mathis is going to have to step up. You know, that's all there is to it. I think you're losing the leader of that defensive line room right there.
I think so too. If I could real quick, I'm going to steal from Deuce real quick and say everybody put a thumbs up in the chat if they agree with me when I say one of the first things that went through my head, if not the first thing that went through my head when we found out how serious his injury was there goes the chance for a trade.
I think you're probably right.
All right.
Big contract as well, John. Do you know what I mean? So it's
Right.
It's a tough one for John.
He doesn't have no guaranteed money.
No, but it's still paying him a fair amount of money, Jesse. And as people have said in the chat, Calvin, etc., they're saying Newton's going to have to step up. Phil Mathis, I listened to DQ before we got on here, and he was saying that he likes him in that nose tackle where he's double team.
He has been
He's
mucking
been
it
playing.
up.
He's been
been
playing well.
mucking
The
it
past
Yeah,
few
he's been
games.
playing okay.
Doing that.
And then FA's going to have to step in now, not as a defensive end necessarily, but as a DT because he can do both roles. So
Well,
does
I think-
that give more? Does that give more options for Payne then to get
better.
through the middle?
I mean, Payne's going to start getting the double teams that Allen's getting, but at the same time, FA, Newton, or Mathis are going to have to start showing up. Frankly,
absolutely.
excuse me, I think that Newton, out of those 3, is going to be the one that actually shows up.
He had a couple nice plays yesterday.
I think FA is better suited on the outside as a DN.
I do too. Yeah,
I agree. I saw him yesterday coming in on a rush that ended up in one of those throwaways where he's waving his arms. I mean, dude, he's swimming in there.
What did you just
Shit, I don't know. I'm knocking shit all over my house. He's swimming in there, and that's what I want out of somebody like FA, man. He's so long. I want those arms up in the quarterback's face. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Scott agrees with you. He's pretty long.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to get it all the way down there, Jesse. You know how it goes, mate.
This is what fell off my shelf here.
Ah, shit, man.
I don't know.
That's a normal Friday night for you.
What's that dude's name right there next to Jesse? What the hell's that guy's name?
Parker.
Parker. Yeah.
God, he was such. I don't know how he just was eating the rain that day.
Parker's all right to me. Let's see. I'll say this about, and welcome, John. I haven't seen your name in here before, but welcome, man. It's nice to see you. He says that Allen will be missed, but he wasn't playing his best. Look, we thought that he was loafing it, and he was, right? Mm-hmm. Jesse called it out. Scott called it out. But ever since then, man, I've seen him hustling. So that's just the way I feel.
It's tough. That's tough. I wonder if it's that same, because he had that issue before earlier in his career. Mm-hmm. Didn't he tear his pec?
He had a Lisfranc injury.
Yeah, he had a Lisfranc on his foot.
He did hurt his pec in college, I believe.
Okay, all right.
That's what made him fall.
I think that's what. Yeah, when he was coming out of college, there was that. Because, everybody was talking about how that's going to affect him in that regard. So, Max, what else do you have as far as an injury report if you've got it pulled up?
That's the only thing that we have of note right now. We'll probably get more on Wednesday.
I did listen to DQ. Too. Yeah, he's got an ankle injury.
He was in a walking boot when he left. And Dorrance Armstrong had a rib that we don't know anything about.
Yeah, but he did.
How much for a rib?
But DQ did say, though, that...
Can I get a sip for 10 cents? Would you put it in my hand?
Let's get Jim Brown to come through the window at you.
Dude, I tell you what, if nobody got that reference, you have homework. You got homework to do. Scotty, you look like you're confused.
No, I've just got halfway through that. The DQ said earlier that the X-rays on Dorrance Armstrong were negative, but they don't know obviously how long that would take it out, whether it's just bruising or there's something more going on there with his ribs. But yeah, man, Calvin highlighted something in the chat there, and he said, we need to wrap up tackles. We've gone from 2 games now where we played the Browns and we played the Cardinals, where we tackled hard, we tackled well on all phases of the game. Special teams were dominating, and then defensively we were wrapping people up. We weren't doing that again. It was like back to true self, where we're trying to hit stick people, we're trying to hit people with the shoulders, with the shoulder pads. Man, just get a fucking rugby union team in or something like that and teach people how to do tackling. Because it just seems like all they want to do is go out there and kill people, which I understand. But there is a correct technique for tackling. It's not difficult to do.
And they used to teach it. Back in the day when they actually had real practices and then could tackle. But now no one tackles in training.
Yeah, because of injury, of course. I get that.
I've thought that the tackling has not been so bad. I mean, yesterday, it's Derrick Henry. I saw a play yesterday where St. Juice literally was running alongside of him, just kind of touching him. Hey, come on, man. Would you fall down? It's a wholly different beast when he's coming running at you. It's like a freight train.
I understand that, man. I understand that. I will want to tackle him.
I think the tackling, for example, like I said, he got hot late. All right, he had big runs. He had a couple of 12-yard, 14, 15-yard runs, and then he got hot late and iced us away, where he got most of his yards, I thought, in the second half. But in the first half, they were stuffing him pretty well. I mean, it wasn't like he was getting his usual 8 yards a carry or whatever, which we would have expected. He was getting about 2, but every time they'd get outside of our tackle box, we were getting beat, and that's where I was getting.
Who stops Derrick Henry? Let's be honest here.
Nobody. He's a Hall of Famer.
Who's stopping him?
Nobody. He's a Hall of Famer, and when you tackle him, you gotta have a bunch of people to hit him.
It's a real problem. It's a real problem having him and Lamar on that team. It's as simple as that. And we talked about it ad nauseum before the game in the build up to this. All the media talked about it, and all you heard was Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, and it's like, yeah, we're going to struggle here. And sure enough, we struggled.
Well, yeah.
And as Max's point earlier in the show when he first started. He said, this tells us where we are as a team. And I truly believe that does tell us where we are as a team. They're pissed off that they lost, which is good to see.
Yes.
That they're pissed off that they lost. They know that they can learn. And I think this coaching staff can bring that forward into this week's practice to say, hey, let's get this shit going and let's get it rolling. When we maybe have rode the train too much, drunk the Kool-Aid, I'm still on the train. I'm excited that we're 4-2.
It's 4-2.
I know, Max, and I didn't expect to be 4-2. And you still is first place in the division. The Cowboys look fucking terrible. The Eagles only just beat, the Browns. The Giants held the
69, ready, hot!
17 points they held him to, and they still couldn't win. They still couldn't win.
Way to go, Scott, my man! You've got it worked out. Now you know how to deal with it. I tell you what, he knew exactly. But you knew I had to play that, right? You knew I had.
Of course
to
I did. Of course I did. I know that.
All right,
real quick to shift gears. Hutchinson's leg looked nasty.
Oh, that was terrible, man. That was awful.
I'm not necessarily a squeamish person. I can watch every fucking war movie you ever put in front of me. I can watch fucking Saving Private Ryan in slow motion. But that I didn't want to see.
It went. It was not good.
It was Hutchinson, man. He's been killing it all season long, man. That sucks for the Lions. But do they look good or what? They were trying to get offensive linemen.
I mean, they were doing anything they wanted again yesterday.
Yeah, they probably could have brought him back out after he went to the hospital and let him go on crutches, and they could have thrown him a touchdown.
I mean, they ran a hook and ladder to the right tackle. That's just.
Y'all see what happened with Sirianni after the game?
Oh God!
He was yelling at fans. Wasn't
he? A soft motherfucker he is.
At home.
At home, he's yelling it because they're yelling, "Fire him, dude! You are a fucking head coach in the National Football League. You can't take that."
That team's fucking combusting, and it's.
To be honest, I genuinely think we'll have 2 new coaches, if not 3 new head coaches.
I was surprised.
The NFC East.
I was surprised McCarthy didn't get fired today.
God damn it! I can tell you something that's, if it wasn't my birthday yesterday and I wasn't getting me a blowjob all goddamn night and drinking too much tequila, if I'd have gotten out of bed this morning, I'd have fired that goddamn squirrel-eyed son of a bitch the first thing in the morning.
Hey,
Happy birthday to... God damn it. You know something, boy? I didn't say talk. I'm trying to get a rant out here. Captain Pablo, make sure that the satellite is pointed directly at this here podcast. Let me tell y'all something right now. I paid $49 million a point yesterday, and that is just not acceptable on my birthday. Anyway, that's enough from Jerry. Jerry.
What? Wait a second, Jerry. Wait a second.
All right, Jerry came back. I mean,
so why aren't y'all playing Zeke Elliott?
Well, because goddamn it, we can't get him out of the locker room. It's an unfortunate thing. The boy ate some goddamn mini wheats, and when I say he ate some mini wheats, he ate a goddamn pallet of them goddamn things, and he's blown up with gas so much we can't get him through the door of the locker room. We've had to get a goddamn cattle specialist in there to put one of them whistle blowers in it was side of him and just let the methane out. And until we can get that done, Zeke's questionable.
I heard y'all were saving him for the playoffs. So.
Well, we're saving him for something, goddammit, because we sure as hell ain't doing anything else with it. I'm saving him to use him for Santa Claus at the goddamn Children's Hospital. Jesus Christ. This is a bad season, and that was just a horrible birthday present to let those goddamn Detroit Lions come down into my house and just whip the living shit out of me like this. Listen, the worst part about all of this is if I get my ass whipped like that, I usually pay a lot of money, and somebody's sticking a dildo in my fanny. And I'll tell you something right now, the Detroit Lions didn't do anything like that. Jesus.
All right,
I tell you, the English boy is he's very confused because fanny means something else entirely.
It certainly does in this country, yeah. I was thinking, okay.
Well, I can assure you, boy, I ain't got one of them. But I think I've said too much already. It's been my birthday. I'm still hung over a little bit, and I feel like I'm going to get a little drunk again. If there's one thing I can say about Zeke and CD and goddamn Dak and the rest of the Dallas Cowboys, I am so glad that once I'm outside the 3-mile limit, I can take all the LSD I goddamn want. I don't have to do anything but laugh like hell and ignore you boys until goddamn time for contracts to come up. Jerry, out.
A reporter did ask Jerry yesterday, why aren't they playing Zeke? And he said, we're saving him for the playoffs.
Yeah, we're saving him for the playoffs. That's all it is. What we're doing is we've got him in the smokehouse. We've got him cut up into some ribs and chops and whatnot. We squealed that boy right on up and put him up in the smokehouse. We'll have him for Christmas dinner.
Jerry, before you go, we've got a question from one of our contributors in the chat there. He says, Did Tanya visit Jerry for his birthday?
You know, I really would have been very happy if Tanya would have visited my abode for my birthday, but the fact of the matter is, now that she's no longer in the NFL and I don't have that kind of an attraction anymore, I prefer them a lot younger. And, you know, I don't like to go where Dan Snyder's been. I mean, you can only pay for so many penicillin shots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, too many Diddy party for you, John.
Tell you something. Go ahead and tell Coach Simple we're looking out for him. We can't wait for him to come down to Texas. We're going to have him in the stadium. And tell his mama we're glad to hear from her, too. And if anybody wants to go to the goddamn Dallas Cowboys store right now and put in the promo code Jesus fucking Christ, I will give you everything you find in there for 100% free. If you want a goddamn Zeke Elliott jersey, I will send it over with a cheerleader to give you a goddamn hand job just to take it off my hands. Has anybody got anything left they want to ask Jerry Jones before I get out of here again?
No.
Fucking A, God damn it. I've broken character several times, and this has been just a big mess.
Oh.
All right, well, that was completely unplanned.
Did you guys hear today that McCarthy was 2 hours late to his press conference?
2 hours late?
His press conference was scheduled to start at 2 o'clock. He didn't walk in until 4.
I told you I was going to chew his ass out. I had to realize his goddamn ass was so big. All right, you know, it is nice. It is nice that we can have a loss like that, and it's an out of conference loss, right?
Yeah.
And the chances are the Ravens, when they have common opponents, are going to beat the Giants. They'll probably beat the shit out of the Cowboys.
They already did.
They already did. They beat the Cowboys. They haven't played Philadelphia yet, right?
No.
Did you
They'll
all
probably beat them too. So,
did you see the stat during the Cowboys game yesterday about their deficits at halftime this season?
no.
So you know how last year it was all hot to trot. They went 8-0 at home.
Yeah.
So including the playoffs against the Saints, they were down 35-16.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens, they were down 21-6, and then yesterday at Detroit, they were down 27-6 at halftime. I mean, that team has imploded on a miraculous level.
You know, I tell you something. One of the problems with having McCarthy as your head coach is his eyes can only focus in one direction at a time. And unless you get him turned in the exact right direction, he can't see the field. And frankly, that's what happened in the first half of every one of our games at home so far. God damn it!
I think it's conceded 126 points this season at home.
Jesus Christ, you just keep making my birthday worse. What the hell's the matter with you?
47, 44, and 28. Yeah, about that.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We should get back onto the Commanders because that's what this show is about. And we haven't had a good time laughing at the Cowboys, but we're going to have to do some butt pats and head smacks. So let's do butt pats and head smacks.
Attaboy. Head smack.
Get out of here.
All again.
Oh, we got to roll it again?
Attaboy. Head smack.
Get out of here.
There you go. There's your opening. So we'll start with you, Jesse. Give me your first butt pat on offense.
I mean, it has to go to Jaden Daniels, right? He was he was himself, what we're getting used to seeing week in and week out. So
yeah,
definitely Jaden Daniels. He was that was his highest
yardage.
Highest yardage of his career so far. 2 touchdowns, and both of those throws were fucking masterful, man.
Yeah, they were.
Great throws, both of them to Terry.
On 4th down as well, Jesse.
Yeah,
Come on.
So definitely a nice big old goose for
Max, what the
Jaden
fuck was
Daniels.
that? What is it? Water.
It's a bowl, yeah.
It's a bottle, not a bowl.
No, I'm not asking all about like that. It's a bottle. You know, I'll tell you what. Jaden yesterday, like I said, he got hit. They took away his usual shimmy alleys where he can kind of squeeze through and run through. They put him on the ground hard. And you're right. I continually get a sense of confidence when he comes on the field, when you just know that he's able to do what he's able to do. And even though they did everything they could to frickin' hurt him yesterday, I mean, not hurt him, but to stop him, he doesn't look like a rookie still. Scotty, give me your first butt pat on offense.
I'm going to go with Zach Ertz. He woke up yesterday. I thought, yeah, fair play.
He had a good second half.
Yeah, he had a good game.
Yeah, I just like it when we're all in our chat and you come across and go, Ertz. Sounds great. Ertz. Attaboy. All right, Max, give me your first butt pat on offense. Whose butt are you patting today?
I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit. Terry McLaurin.
Attaboy.
2 touchdowns.
has
That
to be.
second one, when Jaden threw that pass, my head said, well, that's just going to be a throwaway. We're going to turn it over. And then it was just, I don't know how Terry caught it. He caught the defender, too.
He'll tell
Did
you.
you
Here, hang
hear
on a
the?
second.
Did you? Yeah, go on.
Oh, no, go ahead, Scott, please.
I was going to say, did you hear the explanation from Terry on how that happened?
Got it right
Have you
here.
got it-
And
got it there?
we're
Okay.
going to steal this from Sam Fortier. Thank you, my friend. You're a good guy, and you're a good reporter, and we really like you, and that's why we're putting this up to be able to show everybody that if they go see Sam Fortier on TikTok, and I think it's Sam4... TR. Okay, there you go. So go follow him on every single goddamn platform you can. He's a good guy, and here's a good explanation.
Listen to Terry McLaurin narrate his second touchdown against Baltimore.
Crazy moment because we had almost like 2 routes on at that time, and depending on his leverage, we were going to run a slant. And then I told him out the huddle, I said, yo, if you see me like shake that off, if you see based off his leverage, we're going to do something else. We're going to run a fade. And so when I came off the line, I saw him playing heavy inside. And I was like, shoot, I'm about to run this fade. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to really sell the release on the slant and give him enough room to throw the ball. And honestly, like, of all the plays we've had, I know the one in Cincinnati was huge. We've had some big plays, but that one, honestly, he read my body language. You know what I mean? He read the leverage of the DB, and we were on the same page. And for us to connect on a 4th down play to just give us a chance to stay within the game, that was huge. So that's why I was just looking him dead in his eyes, and that's exciting for me because you start to feel that connection going between you and your quarterback, and it's still early, so it's so exciting to be able to execute plays when you got to have them.
Look, the move that Terry put on the first step to deke him to the inside was fucking brilliant, but then the throw was absolutely perfect, and the catch was spectacular. Jesse, tell me what you saw there.
Oh, boy. You're muted.
He's on mute.
Oh, he's mute. You're on mute.
There's something that you see, quarterbacks that have been in the league for 10 years do.
With guys they've been with for 10 years.
Yeah, they were exactly on the same page. He read everything perfectly to a T, and not only did he read it right, but he threw the ball where only Terry could get it.
Big key.
I mean, that was a dime thrown on a dime.
Yeah,
I love the fact
great.
that when you see that coming across and you see that shadow of the ball coming across, you're like, you just know that it's already, this is a great throw. And it's like, yep, it was right in that window. And I just think,
ahead,
wow.
Max.
And then,
Sorry.
go on, Max, you go.
No,
You go,
please.
Max.
I didn't
No,
realize
Scott, you got it.
I was going to say, the other thing with Jaden, we've already gave a butt pat to Jaden, but it's the maturity aspect of Jaden Daniels as well towards the end of the game, where he's throwing the ball away purposely, like, yeah, that one can just go in the dirt, because it's better to not take a sack there or to try and force feed it. Whereas we're watching people like Bo Nix, we're watching people like Caleb Williams, we're watching the rest of them throwing hero ball, and he does not do that. His head is
Romo
very
said-
much
He
screwed
saved a
up.
timeout
Romo
doing
said
that.
the
Correct.
same. Yeah,
There you
Romo
go.
said
There
it.
you go.
And I'll tell you what, here, real quick, I've been working on an impression of Tony Romo, so here it is. That was fabulous.
Just
wasn't
like
it?
him.
It was I looked just like him. It was fantastic.
That throw, before Max goes, that throw reminded me of that back in 2012, the Robert to Santana throw. It was on the opposite side of the end zone.
Great.
But that was when you saw. I remember.
It was against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. It was almost like he just fucking laser beam directed it into his hands and placed it there. Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah, it was just perfect. Fucking
The
perfect.
fact that was a 4th down. All right, Max,
Exactly.
go ahead. We keep cutting Max off.
No,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that in our chat yesterday during that game, Scotty sent a message where I've heard him yell for the first time, and now I want Scott to yell at me for everything.
Oh, well, you can't now because his wife will come out and hit him with a shoe.
Yeah,
Too
absolutely.
late now.
It's like 11:30 over there. You can't do
it
now.
is.
It's too bad because Scott does yell quite well, and that's a fact. Especially when Ertz makes a play because he comes on and he goes, Ertz. I love it.
Ertz.
No
John,
sense
you're
of panic
right.
from Daniels. Even when he sees the D getting bullied, always a chance. With that man, says John, and I agree,
Yeah,
man.
I agree.
I completely
Couldn't
agree
more.
I have
calm, cool, and collected.
I have faith when the offense comes on the field. We can move the ball. We're going to score. Doesn't always happen, but I also have faith that if we punt, our fucking guys are going to fly down there and break somebody's goddamn helmet off. Dude, they kept up the hitting yesterday on special teams. So, anyway, we were talking to Max. Did you do your butt pat? Yeah, you did your butt pat?
Yeah, Terry.
I'm going to give my butt pat to Olamide Zacchaeus, man. He had a nice second half. I thought he played well. The dude comes up clutch. I thought he does.
I got one more. If you
Go
haven't
ahead.
got any more, Jesse.
Jesse, your turn. Go ahead. We're going around in a circle.
Ertz, man. Ertz.
Scotty, please say it.
Yeah.
Ertz. What a guy.
No.
Dude,
Ertz.
There it is.
too much R
But
in
no,
there.
Noah Brown had a great game.
Yeah, Noah Brown played well.
The sideline catch was incredible, and he was getting held a lot of the time as well. So I think
Another
he will
perfect
come
pass.
on. Yeah,
You got to
it
say
was
another
indeed
perfect pass.
Fourth down, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, fourth down, exactly. I mean, there was a couple of times there.
Still perfect.
Couple of times there, I was absolutely shitting myself on fourth down, thinking, "Why are we going for this?" But at the same time, it's questionable calls as well. On the 46, do you go for it on fourth down? And we turned it down. We punted.
But, Scott, you know who wasn't shitting themselves on the fourth down? Jaden Daniels.
He wasn't. You're right. He wasn't.
He did not. He was jumping around
He
happy.
was very good.
You got anybody else, Max?
I'm good.
I think I'm
no
good
one
on
for
the offense. All right, so why don't we move on to the defense while we're still being happy and give out butt pats on the defense. We'll go counterclockwise this time. Max, you go ahead first.
Once again with the low-hanging fruit, Mikey Sanders still. First career pick, first turnover to the season.
Yep, attaboy. First interception of the season. There you go. Scotty, who about you? Butt pat on defense.
I'm struggling outside of Samra still, to be honest with you. I
I got
defense
nobody.
quite poor. I could say there was a couple of times Phil Mathis got through and on double teams, but was he good enough? Wagner, no.
I got
Wagner
one, if
looked
you guys
like
don't.
Wagner.
I got a
Go
second
ahead.
one. Dante Fowler, 2 sacks.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
the one I was
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
say.
you go.
Dante
There you
Fowler.
go. Okay.
He played pretty well. I thought the defensive line, granted, Henry is going to run over anybody. And when you see these plays, like Romo was even saying, hey, Jim, you see the dive play there? That dive play sets up so much stuff. And it's true, because when Henry does a dive play, it's not a 2-yard play. That dude puts 1 foot over the line, and then he just dives for fucking 3 or 4 yards. The dude is almost impossible to bring down immediately. So, I thought that with the defensive line faced with something like that, the fact that they got to Lamar quickly, I'll just give a butt pat all the way around on some plays. You could see a semblance. I hate to sound this way, but there were plays where Lamar could not get rid of the ball. All right, he had no place to throw it.
He was covered.
It was covered, and not only was it covered, but he was hemmed in, and that's defensive success. You make an MVP like that, on an offense like that, on a true contender like that, throw the ball away multiple times. That's a big positive as far as I'm concerned. So a tiny butt pat, just maybe a finger swipe on the butthole for the defense. There you go, just a tickle.
Check this man's browsing history. Take his hard drive away.
Just a little tickle across the old taint there. All right, so Jesse, go ahead and let me give it a head smack on offense.
I'm going to go Zacchaeus. He had a crucial drop at a crucial time.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, I thought I saw you both looking at me weird.
Yeah,
I thought he also had some clutch plays.
He had a couple good plays, but that drop was bad. It was bad. Bad timing. Bad spot. That would have been a big play right there.
Yeah. So, do we have is he our punt returner now?
I mean, yeah, he's got to be.
I'd say so. Well, I haven't seen Crowder. I haven't seen Crowder at all this season, but I like the way Zacchaeus does it. All right, Scott.
I want to see Forbes out there one time just to get crushed.
Wow.
At the end of the game, Derrick Henry would have picked him up off the ground and picked his teeth with him. I had a pretty good game here today.
And I just wanted Forbes to catch one punt. Like, if we blow away a team or something like that and putting all, just out there, just catch one.
Send him out there and tell him if he calls fair catch and you lose your game check. All right, Scotty, give me a head smack on defense.
I'm going to go both running backs here.
Oh, wait,
couldn't get
I said
anything
offense.
going. Offense, yeah. Couldn't get anything going on running at all yesterday.
Could that be
B-Rob
more
was
on
a
Cliff,
massive.
though?
Yeah, maybe. But B-Rob was a massive miss yesterday, and I think
was.
the other thing, Jesse, is when you're down against a team like Baltimore, who are, we've all agreed, a Super Bowl contender. And they've got these weapons, you're going to look to pass, unfortunately. Nowhere near as much as we had with Bieniemy, but it almost was as if we abandoned the run game at times yesterday.
You're playing from behind most of the game.
Yeah, exactly. You are.
You know,
I understand that.
You got to do that. And you play to your strength, especially when you see how hard Baltimore's front seven was playing. Roquan Smith, did you think he was spying Jaden? Because he was constantly on him. He was constantly harassing him. All right, so
Van Noy
Max,
had a good game for them as well, to be fair. So anyway,
he's an annoying person. I don't like.
He is.
All right, so Max, give me a head smack for defense.
For the similar reason to Scott, our interior offensive line couldn't really get it much push.
Yeah,
couldn't get much push and pass blocking. I thought it was their worst day. You know,
Washington is now the favorite to win the NFC East per Vegas.
Not surprising.
Not surprised, really.
Per Santiago.
First week that's happened.
Or Costa Rica. What's the capital of Costa Rica?
It's Santiago.
No, that's Chile.
That's Chile. Yeah, that's Chile.
Yeah. So anything for us better than Butler? Butler had a couple of games yesterday. A couple of plays yesterday, I thought.
I'm going to say no. I don't think Butler is better than Forrest. I haven't thought Butler is better than Forrest. Everybody that's watched this podcast long enough knows my feelings on Forrest. And he's not playing for a reason.
You've wanted to get him cut ever since he went to your house and, pretty much left a shit stain in your toilet. That was not cool, and I agree. All right, so my first head smack on defense, whoever the fuck was in charge of watching the tight end, I'm not sure who was making a mistake, but Wagner kept looking around for what the fuck happened. Why is Mark Andrews, who can't catch a cold, just run all over you, wide open, as far as open as he was?
I'm not sure where you get this premise that Mark Andrews can't catch.
Not can't catch, hasn't caught.
This season he's been poor.
Every time we talk about fantasy football, you keep going about. I'm not talking about his football cards. All right, I'm talking about what he's doing now. That dude has not been able to catch this year. And
he got in a
wide
car wreck.
Open.
He got in a car wreck.
Make an excuse.
It's 4 days before the season.
Yeah, whatever. I tell you something. I got in a car wreck and climbed Mount Everest the very next fucking day. Scott, do you believe that?
No.
All right. Well, then it's fine with me. All right. So, who's got another head smack for defense?
Yeah, loads.
We got shit.
Just the whole defense was shit.
Did anybody say St. Juice?
St. Juice. Not yet.
Oh, St. Juice. St. Juice. And we mean it in every sense of the word. Get the fuck out of here. St. Juice. The only problem I have with St. Juice trying to get the fuck out of here is he's probably going to be 3 yards late to catch his fucking bus. St. Juiced.
So and trade deadline, okay.
We got 4 weeks.
I'd like for something maybe before that. Do you think this team was going to go for a cornerback, or it's funny that damn shirt, man.
Unfortunately, Jesse, regarding that, I don't know if we have the capital we want to give up. We don't really have that much draft capital.
Howard's free. He's a free agent. He's got to be better than what we've got. Let's be honest, man. The only one who's
freaking
moral character.
Getting
Kendall Fuller?
What's his name? No,
Mike Davis.
No, it was not getting what's his name that was with the Giant or with the Cowboys last year. They got picked up right before
Stephon
Gilmore. Gilmore.
Yeah,
he's making plays.
Max is having a apoplectic fit. Yeah.
Y'all made fun of me when I said Stephon Gilmore.
Well, he was coming off of some surgery and all that kind of stuff like that.
We had Ken here. Ken said that he walked right past him in the retirement home after I said Stephon Gilmore. And look at it now.
Hey, he's playing well. I think he had an interception last week.
But
the Vikings, their defense is playing really well anyway. They're taking the ball from everybody. So interceptions happen on a team when you're up by fucking 28 points at halftime every week, and they have to throw the ball. Go ahead, Max. Sorry.
Are we ready to look ahead?
Are we ready to look ahead? Do we have? No, we're still not done with head smacks. Go ahead, Scotty.
Oh, I think Calvin mentioned about it in the chat earlier. He was saying that we should have kept hold of Fuller, and Fuller's been woeful at Miami this year.
All
Terrible.
of Miami has been.
Everything
I know
has
that,
been
but
terrible.
Even
the women that are walking around South Beach are fucking full of cellulite.
you can't.
You weren't just down there then.
Huh?
What?
What?
What? Say again? No. Anyway, moving swiftly on.
That's for my son.
I've got to give a head smack to Joe Witt. I mean,
What's
you
he
still
gonna
need
do?
to. He can't
He's
deal with what we
polishing
got out
turds.
there.
I mean,
He is. And
When it
in the
comes
last
to an
couple of weeks,
offense like
Max, he's
that,
been
go
able
ahead.
to roll them in glitter, hasn't he? He's been able to roll them up, put them in glitter, and put them in a cupcake case, and say, "Hey, look at this shit." But it turned into shit on Sunday.
I'm not prepared to go that far with that because I mean, we knew that they could not fix everything in one offseason. We knew where the weaknesses were going to be, and the Ravens are a team that was a contender last year before they got Derrick Henry. All right,
Yep.
and now they have one of the best running backs I've ever seen play, and I've been watching for a long damn time. If I was watching in the time of Jim Brown, I would think that he probably reminds me of him, the way he runs. He's just, you don't want to tackle him. He wears down a defense so bad. Look at us in the fourth quarter yesterday. Jesse, you said we're always laughing because you're so damn negative about everything all the time. But the fact of the matter is when you came in the fourth quarter and there was like 6 minutes to go, you said that's it. And you're right, because he's just going to run it, and you can't stop him. You cannot stop him. 3 running plays, and he's got a first down. You can't do anything about it. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Max. Jesse, go ahead. What are you saying?
Jesse's got it.
No, I was just going to say Deluxe. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Forrest just isn't it. He isn't it. He's not it. He's had a handful of exciting plays, but that was it. That's all he had. And I think we that's what most fans remember about Derek Forrest. Other than those plays, he played awful. He wasn't good at all. And, him being so far down on the depth charts kind of proves that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I just did the math. In the fourth quarter, Henry had 45 rushing yards yesterday.
I mean, and what was his total for the day?
111.
Joe Witt gets a head smack. I don't think anybody else
just did that.
132.
Sorry.
But I do think he does get a head smack. I think overall, Yam's point there, what he's saying in the chat, the thing that is that we knew, the entire league knew just how bad our secondary was. Yeah, but like John said, you can't do absolutely everything in the off season, and they've made decisions and they've brought corners in, but the corners haven't worked.
When you come in and you still have $30+ million in cap space,
do something.
Could have did something.
So do you think then that AP and Quinn have looked at this and said, "Hey guys, this is going to be a rebuilding year.
Very much.
If we do well in the NFC East, then that's great because they don't know how the rest of the East is going to play. I'm pretty certain they didn't expect 2 of the teams to be as bad as they've been." And we're still sitting in top, and then you get out to having a 4-1 record, and you're like, oh shit, okay, this might be quicker than we thought it was going to be because everything's changed, the personnel's changed, the coaching's changed, and now you're like, right, we probably might do something at the trade deadline to make us better, but they're probably looking at this and saying we've got 150 million next year in cap space,
right? So
we can go big next year. Is what they're probably thinking to themselves.
I would agree. I think at the trade deadline, I think we're going to be rather quiet. And,
I think
like
so
Max
too.
said, it's 4 weeks from now, right? So we're 4-2 now. If we're
why waste
if
a high-powered offense?
7-3,
that's what I don't get.
Right. If we're 8-2,
we're not going to
7-3,
be able to at 7-3. I mean, at worst case, 6-4 at the trade deadline. We're not going to be able to make a big enough move that's going to send this team to the Super Bowl.
Whether you can make a big enough move or not, it depends on what you get. What if the Raiders all of a sudden say, "Okay, Max Crosby's up for deal"?
Oh, no
Fuck
way.
yeah, man! Oh, dude,
Right, but
as in they're not going to do that.
I would
That's
send
what I'm saying
Jesse out
you.
to give frickin' Mark, whatever the guy's name is, out there a blowjob for Max Crosby.
And I might do it.
He might do it.
I mean, for Max Crosby, yeah.
Max Crosby, I mean, come on, man.
Dude, did you see him yesterday after the play was blown
so
dead? There was a play where he was lining up and somebody flinched or something, and the play was blown dead, and he stood up, and the freaking tight end that was next to him stood up, and he just slapped the guy in the face. I just love it, man.
He must be looking at that and going, how the fuck have I not won Defensive Player of the Year? It's ridiculous.
Because
I'm
there's
looking
other
at that.
players.
Because there has been an Aaron Donald in the league.
There's been an
I
Aaron
know that,
Donald.
but-
There's been the Watt brothers.
That's what I'm saying. TJ
There's been a
Watt
Myles
wins it pretty
Garrett.
much all the time.
I think
he's-
Hutchinson should still win it, even though he's not playing for the rest of the fucking season. He was so damn good.
So
Yeah, Max Crosby's the same though.
Dude, you are just closet in love with the Lions.
so real quick.
Listen, man. Look, they're a good team, man. They're a good team. I like good football. They're a fucking great. team.
Bill's
They are
Lions
good.
Super Bowl, is that what you're going for, Jesse?
Yeah, I still think so.
I will
He
say
would
that-
have a
Dude, that's the end of the
stonk on
world.
all
That's
game.
it.
He
That
would have
would
a
be the end of the
stonk on
world.
all game.
you
It would
remember
be
the-
like
What's the
that.
word you're saying? What is the
I'm
word?
saying Jesse would have a stonk on.
That
It would
doesn't
be
stonk.
like that.
A stunk.
So,
Dude, I'll tell you what. How do you not get laid when you say, "Come here, lady, I got my stunk. Ride this stunk, baby."
real quick.
Listen, go ahead, but real quick before I go ahead and give you this piece of trivia.
No, because I'm just looking ahead to next week.
Well, we're not ready to look ahead yet.
Look. All right, go ahead. What's your piece of trivia?
Fine. Do you remember the television show? Oh shit! It was Mulder and what's her name?
Scully.
X-Files?
Mulder and
X-Files.
X-Files. The X-Files. All right, the cigarette smoking man. Remember him? I remember the
Yeah.
cigarette smoke. He was always the guy that was behind the scenes of everything. There was an episode that I'll never forget where he sits down in this like Illuminati type room with all of these other players like him that pull the strings all around the world, and they're talking, and he sits down and he goes, "No, before we go any further, remember, the Buffalo Bills never win the Super Bowl as long as I'm alive." And I just started laughing when he said it, and there's my little piece of trivia for the end of the show.
Great job.
you go.
All right.
Thank you. Please, now, Max, please take us on to next week.
So we've got Carolina
then-
coming to town.
Yeah.
First off, just looking at the docket of games this week, it's an awful week for NFL football. Mm-hmm. It's saying something that we have the highest over-under in the league.
Okay. Jesus, really?
Yeah.
Yeesh.
The Carolina Panthers can score now.
Well,
Dalton.
they could score 2 weeks ago.
Notable matchups
They
of the
were
week.
they were within one score into the fourth quarter against the Falcons.
Let's say this. On Sunday, the best matchup of the game is Kansas City and San Francisco, which is the only 425 game. The early window is going to be highlighted by Detroit and Minnesota.
Wait,
Other
we
than that-
have a 405 game.
We have a 405.
We do,
Yeah.
405. Yeah.
But 425, the only game is Kansas City, San Francisco.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this with every amount of aplomb that I can. Big fucking deal.
There are 2 Monday night games next week.
Oh, yeah? What
There's
are
an
they?
8:15 of Baltimore and Tampa,
Okay.
That's gonna
and
be a
then
good
there's
game.
an ESPN Plus exclusive game of the Chargers and the Cardinals.
ESPN
watching
Plus
that shit.
exclusive.
Yes,
What time does that one come on?
9 Eastern.
Yeah, because that one's out on the West Coast. And yeah, ESPN Plus, you lose. You should have got a better game.
Yeah, I'm not.
So-
I'm not big.
So
on
we're at 405 this week. So,
So that's a
how
9:05
long-
kick for you.
Yeah, how long is the average game? About 3 hours ish.
Yes.
3 hours ish.
So,
sick.
and we're on CBS, so we're probably going to end up with like the B or C list announcing crew.
Which
We
would
also
be
have
Greg
another
Olsen.
London game.
Greg Olsen.
I don't
That-
like Greg Olsen. He's
Greg
a fucking
Olsen's on
glass of
Fox.
milk. Oh yes, he is on Fox. He's like
Well-
he's like a glass of milk. Call it a game.
You know what reemerged today is the University of Miami rap album that he was on. Did you remember this?
Oh really?
I will have to find this and I'll send it
Greg
to you.
Olsen was rapping.
Greg Olsen at a tight end in Miami had a rap album.
Exactly, Mike. Of course, it's going to be over by halftime. I'll be tucked up in my bed. No post mashup for me, mate.
The CBS game,
Louis says.
number 1 game next week is going to be Houston and Green Bay. But
That's going to be a great game, actually. To be fair.
It should be.
So check this out. Trey Hendrickson versus Andrew Thomas last night on Sunday Night Football.
I know.
24 pass rush snaps, 2 sacks, and a QB hit. And what did he do against us?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Dick chat. Nothing.
But the
Now
thing
when
that-
Max
the
said
thing
he
that
was
annoys
taking us
me, that-
this
that-
week, go ahead.
Thing that annoys me with that is that the Giants held them to 17 points and still
Giants
couldn't
got a
fucking
good
win.
defense. And Giants was also out.
And I don't think this Cincinnati.
They could have won that game. I think
good.
they would have won that game if they had Neighbors and Singletary, but they didn't.
Yeah, I don't think Cincinnati's actually that good.
I think the Giants are a little bit better than what we think they are.
Yeah. We like to laugh at him because Daniel Jones is an inbred, and that's the second time I've made an inbreeding reference in this show. But Daniel Jones actually is. Now, when Max said he was taking us the next week, I didn't realize he was going to give us a rundown of the goddamn games of next week. I thought we were talking about the Carolina Panthers and our homecoming game, the Darryl Green game. Right? We're going to put Darryl.
This game.
All right. We should smoke this team like a fucking set of ribs that's in Deuce's goddamn tailgate.
They're going to
That's
be able to
what we're
run.
gonna do.
They're going to be on a run to run on us. I think they have Deontay
Chuba Hubbard's
Johnson.
a quality back. He's a
he is. He's a very good back.
They are
Deontay
bringing
Johnson.
Jonathan Brooks up this week off the NFI.
He's off the IR. Hopefully they'll let him go a week before because he's a good back too. Yeah, I'd like to put 40 points up. But they're going to score some points. I think they're going to at least get 25. The Panthers.
They probably will. I mean, Chuba Hubbard, like I said, is a good back. What does that say, 50 burger?
Sorry. No, the next one, Yams.
Let's see here. Instead of being the shit stain of the NFL this year, they are the little clingers hanging onto a dog's ass for the ride. Very nice. They're the little clingers that your wife is desperately trying to pluck. Come here, while she's still got a piece of paper towel in her hand. All right, so let's get some early looks real quick. Let me get a prediction from you, Jesse. Not necessarily a score, but just your first overall outlook at the Carolina Panthers. Go ahead.
We should definitely win this game. I do worry a little bit about the defense.
I'm sorry, it just sounds so great. We should win this game, but
I'm worried about them controlling the clock. Listen,
what did you
Ravens,
what?
I think that's what I heard too.
The Ravens.
I heard that too. 1 minute 21, John, just for reference.
1 hour 21 minutes.
Yeah, 1 hour 21. Yeah.
The Ravens have.
There you go.
What did that have to do with what I said?
It was
control
the cock.
I said the clock.
No, you didn't. You did not.
You're over here thinking about beating the Panthers.
Control.
All right. Go
Worry about the Panthers controlling the cock, okay, by running the ball. But as we know, the Ravens had 11 minutes more time of possession than we did, and that was pretty worrisome right there.
You give up 90-yard drives, that's going to happen.
Yeah, so that we can't let that happen. We can't let Chuba Hubbard take over the game. We can't let the fucking Red Rocket take over the game.
The Red Rifle. Not the Red Rocket.
He's going to be
Red
always
Rocket's
be the
going to
Red
be a
Rocket.
dog
now.
dick. He's going to be a dog dick this
That's
weekend.
that's Andy Dalton.
Right.
Fucking
All I can think
dog
of is
dick.
South Park jerking off the dog. Red Rocket, Red Rocket, Red Rocket.
But if we can just turn around and hopefully Brian Robinson is back, that will be key. And don't embarrass Darryl Green while we retire his jersey.
Absolutely not. Scotty, what do you think? What's your prediction? Not necessarily prediction, but what do you get? What's your feel for next week?
Easy win. Easiest win of the season. It's the one you looked at. It's the one you looked at the schedule and went, "That's a win." Before we even played it down, and nothing's changed.
Okay.
They're a fucking basket case of a team. I hate them with a passion. Their owner is a scumbag, and he can fuck right off. There you go. How about that, John?
There you go. He can fuck right off.
Anyone that throws drinks on people like they're peasants, he can get out of here.
Well, I've been known to do that at people outside the windows of my house. But Max, go ahead. What are your impressions on this?
There's a reason you schedule cream puffs for homecoming. This should be
that's
an easy
right.
win.
That's right.
That's it. That's exactly
right.
it.
And that's what I think as well. I think that Chuba Hubbard will get his, but we are going to kick the shit out of the Red Rifle, and he's going to be the red fucking. He's going to be the red goddamn slingshot by the time we're done with him. With a broken rubber thing.
John, I am saying Marcus Mariota plays the entire second half because Jaden is resting.
All right, Canada Mike.
Wow.
That's Mike got to say here. 55-10 is what he was saying before. What's he got now?
No, he's telling me that I am Canada Mike because of that. He's like, whoa, pump the brakes.
Can you not hear that, John? Can you still not hear it, John?
No, I can hear it now. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. You got to hit it again, or you have to put it on the loop there.
No.
All right, so now we're ready to get rid of the show here. Okay, so thanks for everybody for popping by. I'm glad you had a good time. There's a good number of people in here watching us right now. Thanks for coming over from Twitter. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the show, give us a like, whatever you want. If you can give us a comment, please give us a positive comment. That would be cool. And if you use the F word, we don't fucking care. Until, I guess, One Point Safety Show is on Thursday at 3 p.m.
Thursdays. Yep.
Thursdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Bunker comes on at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with Jessy and Andy over there in the UK. And we will be back Friday to preview the Carolina Panthers at 5:30 p.m. We'll see you then.